Hi, I'm Davern. I'm here to share my love for tennis with you and to help you be happier on the court. Hi, today's video is part 2 about keeping the essence, manners and etiquette of the game, and trying to, what I'm trying to do is model this every day in every way to make sure that I'm doing it, people that I'm sharing the court with or people I'm teaching, that they know all about this too. And so that we do this and we're hoping that this will be spreading on to everybody, then other people will follow on from our really strong modeling and behavior of doing these things well. So I hope you enjoyed the points that I raised up in the first one. For this one here, we're going to go through some more things. So I'm going to start off with some things where when you're getting towards the end of when you play. So for example, if we're doing a lesson and we're getting towards the end of the time, then most people are going to know because they're going to hear my alarm that goes off with only a couple of minutes to go, is this would be the right time to hurry up and clear all the remaining balls from the court and pack up so that the next person can start on time, just as you would like to start on your time. And then things such as, toweling down, having a snack, having a drink and all this type of things, or feeling like you'll pick up some balls and hit some more, these are just definitely not things that we should be doing. We need to be, if you want to do this type of things, you need to do that earlier on. Right towards the end, when it's time, we need to make sure we first clear off everything and then you can go do all those other things. Of course, if you don't have the court and I don't have the court and we need to get off, we need to be outside, get out, go out of the gate, be outside, and then we can have a chat or have the snack, have the drink, toweling down. We need to first fully get away from where we're supposed to, where the other people have now got the court. So these are really important things for it to happen when we're enjoying the court and for the next person as well. So we want to be really mindful of that. All these things need to be reinforced. So whilst I'm saying this, then I would like to put out to all the tennis coaches there are out there that I feel this, and I hope that you all feel the same thing, is that we should be trying to model all these things and teach these on to everybody that we're on the court with. It's not only about hitting the ball and competing, training and, a workout, whatever it is. It's about passing on the game, the whole game, and all the manner and respect and consideration of others and the manner of the sport. Is we should be really, really encouraging our students to learn these things and to do them. So the only way to do that is to bring it up with them and teach them in all these points before it happens, preferably. But at least if things are not going as they should, is to be teaching that to everybody as you go. Especially for the younger players. I mean, how are these younger players going to know any of this stuff when they're new to the sport? Anyone who's new to the sport. So we need to make sure that we're equally considering all these, because this has a big impact on, whether anybody else is going to ever want to play with them, or how much fun and trouble they get into when they're going to the tennis courts. So it's an important part. I hope that everyone can push this forward so that we can hit this to as many people as possible who are trying to enjoy the great game of tennis. Okay, so then the next point will be, an important one, is that if you're loving to play and you're getting to the end of time and you do the right thing and you, as I was mentioning in the first edition, is that you're clearing everything up and you're there. If you're getting it to the stage where now it's time to pack up and somebody else is supposed to come in, if you find that that people haven't arrived and you want to play, and it's okay in the place where you are, whether it's a tennis center or a club, that people have common sense and they're just encouraging the sport and health and fitness, that if your hour runs out and nobody comes, of course it's normal and obvious that people might want to play a little bit more, even though you haven't got the booking. So you can do a number of things. You could say to, if the courts are free, you could go in and quickly organize to book in for a further hour. Otherwise, if not, and nobody's coming and you're only looking to play a couple of minutes until other people arrive, you have to be very mindful and considerate, as when people are running late, they're often very agitated and annoyed that they're late. And they, of course, when they get to the court and it's their court time, they want to be able to play immediately at the time when they get there. So they're going to be in a rush. So when you're playing and you've packed up and nobody comes, it's not okay to hit loads of balls and continue on what you're doing so that when people arrive, it takes you quite a long time to get off when it's not your time. Like I said before, I understand if people really love and want to play more, of course, just as I do, but it's important if you get to this type of stage and it's not your time anymore, that you really reduce down to playing with just 3 up to a maximum of 6 balls, 3 balls per each player, 2 people, even if there's more than 2 people, no more than 6 balls, and that you only play with these few balls, and you keep everything already ready, packed up and ready to take off the court. So if you are playing for a few minutes and somebody arrives, as soon as you see people coming, if you're doing a point, you just finish that point, and then you just get your 6 balls and you move out, because it's really easy because there's hardly any balls to play with. So that's a really important thing, that is, if you do want to play, and it's understandable, you have to really reduce it to just a few balls, so that if anyone does come, or when they do come, you can very quickly move out and get off the court. Okay, that would be the best thing to do, and that's what you would hope to do if you were running late to the court. So when you're there in the same situation, as always, try to do these things that you would hope would happen if it was the reverse side for you. That's an easy way to always think of things. How would I like it to happen to me if this was the situation? That's a good indicator of what you should do in the first place. All right, so then now we've got quite an interesting one where it's happening often, is about when your ball goes to another court, and then you've got the flip side when somebody's ball comes to your court and you're passing it back. So let's do when your ball goes to another court. So number one would be, make sure when you're playing, you want to at least know what's your ball. So for example, if you're playing with new balls and you open a can, they will normally have the branding of whichever brand it is, and a number of balls might have like a number on them as well, so that you want to know what's the brand and the number. There might be all the 4 balls or the 3 balls in the can, they might be number 1s, and your friend one might be a different brand, and they all might say number 3. So then you know what they are before you start. Okay, that would be a really big help. And of course then is marking your balls like I'm doing with the smiley face, and having only one brand, because all the balls that I've got here, I've never keep anyone else's ball, so it's very easy to see mine are all the same brand, they all have the same marking, the smiley face and a hashtag on them. As you can probably see here from the video, the registration plate, that only if you've got the smiley face and the hashtag can you live in the happy community inside my tennis ball basket. So having the marking is also going to help, because then when you're asking people to pass the ball back, it's going to be easy for them to recognize when you point out to them, hey, mine is the one with the smiley face and the hashtag on it and the branding name. So when your ball goes to the other court, the idea is always not to interrupt other people's enjoyment and concentration of the game. So please do not just run into other people's court like your ball is the most limited edition Lamborghini that's ever been invented, and that you're so worried that your limited edition Lamborghini is going to be taken by somebody else. The whole thing is, if your ball goes to another court, of course it's understandable, it might not be on purpose, but it's still annoyance or disrupting other people. So you do not run over or go to the other people's court at any stage. You always stay within your own court, and you wait till they've finished a point or they have a break in what they're doing, and then you ask, excuse me, can you please pass us the ball back? And of course you can always indicate to them which one it is or where it is, so it's very quick for them to be able to pass it back. When you do this, you've got to try to avoid what I see happening all the time, is when your ball comes to somebody else's court, it's not really helpful for you and for them, or it's very unhelpful actually, is if you walk all the way towards your ball when the other person is also going to get it. So when you walk there and they walk there, then when they give it to you and you're standing right next to them because you followed your ball all the way towards the person, like as if you don't trust they're going to pass it back when you've already asked them and they're going to get the ball, indicates they are doing it, is don't walk all the way to that person. You've got to make sure that you stay where you are, because then when they pass you that ball, if you're there, now they've got to wait for you to go and get out of their way and go all the way back to your court, and all the people you're playing with, or the person you're playing with, now has to wait for you to come all the way back. So it's much better for everybody if when your ball goes to another court, you don't go and walk towards your ball all the time. You just wait where you are, and then the other person will pass it back to you. Okay? So, and if this doesn't happen, then you have to just repeat again the same question to get the other people's attention. Can you pass the ball back? So try to stay where you are, they stay where they are. That saves a lot of time, makes it easier for everybody. Then you disrupt them lesser instead of disrupting them even more. They're doing you a favor to pass you back the ball. Of course, we all need to repay everybody the same favor when it happens. It should be that nobody's doing this on purpose. It should be that when the balls go to other courts, it's an accident, but of course it happens all the time. So we need to deal with this better. So that would be the right way to go about it. Of course, also in this scenario, if people are having a drink or they're collecting balls and they're not playing and they're not doing something, so there's no disrupting their concentration and enjoyment of the game, then of course, common sense, you should go and take the ball yourself quickly and get back out of the way quickly, because they're not doing anything, so it's you are not disrupting them and getting you to get the ball when you're the one who sent it over there. Then this scenario is okay to do. Of course, if you've got a really nice person, like if you're playing next to me, I will probably pass you this ball back too, as soon as I see that's happening, back to your court before you come over, even if I'm just picking up the balls, because I'm always paying attention and mindful of everybody around me, what's happening, what's going on. Then also what you've got is if people are playing a match, doubles or singles, whether it's official or a practice or whatever it is that, it's always good to ask them who's serving if you don't already know. And then when you're passing the ball back, you pass it directly to the server, because they're the person who needs the ball to start the next point. So that's going to help their game go quicker, and you're going to have to pass the ball back anyway. So what does it hurt to pass it back to the person so the other people can continue their game even faster? So of course, if I'm playing, that would be great if people passing it back to me as the coach, because it's not really that helpful to hit it at the person who's training, because I'm going to be wanting to continue on the training, not wait for the ball to be hit at them before we can continue on. Okay, so of course when people have got a lot of balls there and you're finding that they are so worried and they're running over to your court all the time, when you're passing a ball back, you want to make sure that you pass it towards the net here at the front, so people can actually see that their ball's coming back, and then they're not going to run across looking for their ball that you've already passed 5 balls back, because they're going to be able to see that the balls are coming back in front of the net there. So when you see that people are passing the balls back, that means you should really stop doing the wrong thing in the first place of going to get all your balls when you can see people are passing the balls back. For me, I always know that I have 66 balls. They're all marked with the same smiley face and hashtag and the same brand. They're all new most of the time, or not very old, like half a month old is as long as I use them for. So they're all about the same coloring and the same wear and tear on them, and they're all the same brand, because I don't have anyone else's. So I know how many I've got, so it's very easy for me to know if there's any on your court or not. So when you're playing, if you have some consideration of others, you might also want to pay attention to how many that you have. So when you're playing and you want to pack up or whatever, by just counting them as you're putting them all back in, that you don't need to go running into other people's courts and seeing where their balls are, because you've got enough there. Or you might be able to be very helpful and say, hey, there's only 2 courts here, none of them went over the fence, or that none of them are in the rubbish bin or whatever else like that. We've looked everywhere first, of course, always look everywhere first. We've got 2 balls with you guys, if you can throw them back, that'd be great. But of course, let them do what they're doing and then pass back the ball. So this is a lot of little things you can do when your ball's going to the other court. So as I was mentioning just now, is with passing the balls back, there's passing the ball back to who's serving, there's passing the balls back if they're doing continual play towards the net. But of course, when you do that, you're trying to make sure when you roll the balls back, unlike what happens a lot of times, is you don't just whack it anywhere and put it so they have to stop playing and stop doing what they're doing to play, or they get distracted from your doing, or you put it near their ankle so they're in risk of breaking an ankle. You want to try to roll the ball back gently and easily to a place where it's not going to be interrupting them. So of course, rolling it towards the net is a good one, and making sure that then that people can see it because it's in front of the 2 people, that a ball's coming back. So then of course they're not, you're rolling them behind them, so when they run back they step on it and fall down and possibly break the ankle, which I've seen happen. So this is what we want to do, is do that. And when you're passing the ball back, like I'm saying, is you need to do it gently, because a lot of times people are passing the balls, and when there's more than 2-3 courts, that the court is actually getting passed back by somebody, and it actually goes straight past the court from where the people who own the ball to, and then it goes and interrupts the following court after that as well. So you've got to be trying to pass it only back to the court that you're supposed to be passing back to, not just anywhere. And of course, if you're ever unsure of when you pick up a ball and you know it's not yours, is you don't need to just hit it anywhere. If you are unsure, you should try to verify by asking, is this your ball or not? Because most people are buying cans or buying bags of balls and they're the same one, so they'll know which branding is theirs or which marking is theirs. So if unsure, you don't do that. And of course, one of the big things is when balls come to your court and you know you're not yours, you don't just totally ignore the ball. You know it's not yours, it didn't just drop out of the air, it's somebody else's ball, so you should pass it back, okay? It means you don't have to stop what you're doing, but when you're not doing something, you go back to pick up a ball and you see a ball's not yours, then you should pass it back. And if you pass it back to them, and you pass it back and you accidentally shoot it way too far, then actually you should go and get that ball because you're the person who sent it off there to 3 courts away when it's not where it was supposed to go to. So try to have respect and be mindful. If everybody's passing the ball back well, it's going to be a lot more fun and enjoyment for everybody. Same as if you have, for example, you're playing and you want to get the most out of your time. If people are playing and they're doing something that's taking a lot of time, you can always roll it really gently to the very edge of the border of the 2 courts. You don't have to always roll it in completely into the other person's court. You can put it just near, so then if they're playing a match or whatever, the ball's not going to roll into the court and they have to restart, but the ball is towards their side, so when they come over to get a drink or towel down or have a chat before they change ends or whatever they're doing to have a discussion if they're learning something, is they can see the ball, maybe it's not right in their court, but it's right near, it's easy for them to get to. The main part is to make sure you're not interrupting others when your ball goes over there, and the main part is to make sure everybody's getting their ball back, okay? So that everybody's doing the right thing and having the decency and honor to not take other people's balls and return them back just as you would like to have your ones passed back. Okay, so these are all the main things I'm covering today. If you can leave a comment on any scenarios where you would like to know, like, what should I do in this situation, so you can be a cooler, classier, smarter person and help everyone enjoy their time on the court, is please leave a comment below and I'll definitely answer you back. And I hope all these things help, and make sure you try to share this one, part 2 and part 1, with all the people that you play tennis with, all the people you know play tennis. So if we get encouraging everybody to do all these things in part 1 and 2, that should really make it massively better for everybody who's going to the courts and playing and enjoying their time in the court. Okay, have fun. I'm going to go play now, so you go and have fun too. If you like this video, please subscribe to my tennis YouTube channel so that you can get a notification by email each time a new video is uploaded. Also, don't forget to share this video with your friends so they can enjoy their tennis too.